Fikayo Tomori might just be one of Canada's best dual nationals ever, while also happening to be in one of Canada's biggest positions of current need. But with a recent turn of events with FIFA's current laws, it now allows Fikayo Tomori to be eligible once again to represent the CanMNT. And with the recent change in FIFA's laws, this gives Canadian fans and supporters that slightest and slim glimmer of hope and belief once again that the Canadian-born centre-back could choose Canada and represent the CanMNT over the English national side. But the big question is looming is what are the chances and the realistic possibility of Fikayo Tomori actually choosing Canada over England? But before we break down the possibility of Tomori choosing Canada, I would love to hear what you guys have to think down below in the comments. Also make sure to hit that sub button for the best CanMNT content and drop a like. But yesterday saw a new information leaked around FIFA laws from The Telegraph, which all unfolded around Evan Ferguson switching from Ireland to England. But this led to a huge turn of events for CanMNT around Fikayo Tomori, which the law now changes and states a player cannot switch teams after playing 4 competitive games for one nation. Which means Fikayo Tomori currently has only played 3 international caps with England in a competitive fixture. Which means the Canadian and English centre-back, the dual national, is technically still eligible to represent Canada. Even though it's extremely unlikely Tomori will choose Canada, it is now a slim and slight possibility that he could represent Canada, that he is now eligible unless he gets cap-tied this window. But Fikayo Tomori has represented England on 3 different occasions at the senior level. Of course, representing Canada once at the U20s and England multiple times through his youth career. He has only represented Gareth Southgate's England side at the senior level 3 different times. Given his debut on November 17th in 2019 from Gareth Southgate, but Tomori has never truly broken back into the England squad under Gareth Southgate since his debut. But with those 3 appearances and 3 matches for England, which have been these, with Tomori taking part in only 1 Euro qualifying match, earning 6 minutes against Kosovo, which is unbelievable. Also earning himself and being involved in a World Cup qualification match against Andorra, where he also only got 30 minutes, with also getting 1 England start in a UEFA Nations League match against Italy, getting 88 minutes, which coincidentally ended up being a clean sheet for Fikayo Tomori in an unbelievable match for himself. So only starting 1 match in 3 appearances at the senior level under Gareth Southgate is a disgrace for arguably the best centre-back outside of John Stones in the English national setup. But also, it's not just that Fikayo Tomori was left out of so many matches. Fikayo Tomori was also left out of the World Cup and the Euro squads for England under manager Gareth Southgate. But after looking at Fikayo Tomori's England career, is there really a chance for him to now choose Canada? That is of course the real question, the heartbreaking question for all Canadian fans and supporters, and it's a extremely interesting one. But for me, there's no chance Fikayo Tomori will choose Canada over England. Yes, there's a slim and slight possibility he could choose us as he now is eligible, but for me, there's really no chance. Yes, seeing there is still hope and potential that Tomori is still eligible is massive, but the likelihood of Tomori choosing Canada is extremely slim, especially with Fikayo Tomori only 1 match now away from being completely cap-tied to England, and being called up this international window will make it extremely difficult, as right now England faces 2 matches of this current international window. And like I said earlier, you need to have 4 competitive matches to your nation, and you are not able to switch after that. He right now has 3 competitive matches under his belt, and going into this window, England is set to face Ukraine and Scotland. Ukraine will be a Euro qualifying match, while Scotland will only be a friendly match. So if Fikayo Tomori plays against Ukraine and features against Ukraine, he is fully captied to England, and our hope is lost. But if he does not feature against Ukraine in that Euro qualifying match, there is still hope for Canada to be able to call him up in that October window against Japan. Even though it's still a bonfire within Canadian soccer, there is still the slightest possibility if he doesn't feature against Ukraine. You could talk about the Scotland match. That match wouldn't matter. That is a friendly match. That is a non-competitive fixture. So that would not cap tie him to England. Only that match against Ukraine will fully cap tie him to England. But as we all know, what Gareth Southgate will do will be just giving him that cap tie, will be playing him on the bench, bringing him on, getting him cap tied against Ukraine, and never playing him again, or probably calling him up until Gareth Southgate might get sacked or leaves the England setup after this coming Euros. But also looking at this, guys, from a Canadian tinted glasses and optimism point of view, which I want to have a little bit of optimism more so in this video, the two games in this window are against Scotland and Ukraine. Like I said, the only game that could technically cap time is that Ukraine fixture. So I hope Gareth Southgate slips up, doesn't give him that England cap tie against Ukraine, and gives Canada that chance to cap tie him and call him up against Japan in October. Can you imagine that back line? Derek Cornelius, Fikayo Tomori, Alphonso Davies, and Alistair Johnston. My God, that would be extremely exciting. That is fully from a Canadian tinted pointed glasses view and truly optimistic view. I don't think we're going to get Fikayo Tomori for all those reasons and still so many more. But the excitement, the optimism has to be there that we know he's still eligible. Even though from the bottom of my heart, I know he won't join us. But you have to still have a little bit of belief if you're a Canadian supporter. But for me, guys, it is still ultimately so unlikely, and of course with the bonfire of Canadian soccer right now in the state of our federation, currently it can't be appealing for a player like Fikayo Tomori. That's just clearly an obvious point that even doesn't need to be stated, but I have to bring it up. With Canada Soccer not currently even having a manager or any backroom staff after John Herdman left, it makes things extremely difficult for Canada to try to convince a player of Fikayo Tomori's stature to join a nation, a rising footballing country in Canada. It's just extremely difficult selling point to make to Fikayo Tomori unless you have a player like Alphonso Davies go out there and stick his neck on the line and try to convince Fikayo, have Jonathan David, all those high profile players go out and try and convince Fikayo Tomori that Canada is the right place for him to join, even though he could be a shoo-in for England after Gareth Southgate leaves after the Euros. And for me, guys, that leads right into my next point and the last point. The biggest reason I think Fikayo Tomori won't choose Canada over England now is due to the rumors of Gareth Southgate leaving England after the Euros. We've all seen it. Gareth Southgate is rumored to leave England after this coming Euros. There's been links for Pep Guardiola to join England. There's been links to so many top managers to leave and to join the England national team after Gareth Southgate. And that is the number one reason why I don't think Fikayo Tomori will join Canada over England. Because right now, if you look at the England center back depth chart, if you look at the England squad and roster, for me, there's no doubt that England center back depth chart and pool, it is John Stones who is a miles ahead of anyone at the center back depth chart. He is one of the best center backs, if not the best center back in world football. So versatile, so good in challenge. But outside of that, it's Fikayo Tomori. Fikayo Tomori is easily the number 2 best center back in the English national setup pool, and that is the reason why I don't think he will leave England. It is so tempting for a player's point of view that a manager leaves, you have a fresh start, you have a fresh plate, a clean slate. And if Gareth Southgate leaves, Fikayo Tomori will be a shoo-in. I don't care who that next manager is. Fikayo Tomori has pace, he has on-ball ability, he's an amazing in a tackle, and he can win you an aerial duel. What more do you want from a center back? So I think Fikayo Tomori's number one reason for staying will be Gareth Southgate is leaving just around the corner. But also, another selling point you could make from a Canadian tinted pointed glasses is we have the Copa America coming up this summer in Canada. Well, not in Canada, but for Canada. More than likely, we do qualify. Where we'll be facing Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, all these top nations, Colombia, Chile, Ecuador, whoever's going to be there, USA, Mexico, all these top nations. It would be extremely exciting for Fikayo Tomori and the chance to play against Messi at the international level. So Fikayo Tomori has a lot to think about, guys, but all in all, Fikayo Tomori is now eligible to represent Canadian national team, and I never thought I would say that ever again, but albeit an extremely slim chance of joining Canada over England, there is still the smallest, slightest, slimmest of hopes of Canadian football supporters, and we need to hold on to that, especially with England set to play Ukraine. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section on Fikayo Tomori's possibility of joining Canada and what you guys think of Fikayo Tomori's situation. Let me know down below in the comments. Make sure to drop a sub. We're so close to 200. Guys, let's try and hit 10 more subs by the end of the week. Make sure to drop 10 likes. We gotta hit that 10 likes, guys. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.